100%.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's just talk about the process that you had as a client, as somebody who's
Mm.
learning to use their chart, learning how to use the Creighton Model System. So what was that process like for you? How did you
I
find it?
I found it really, really good. I think especially, I mean, obviously I haven't done the course yet,
Yeah,
but I assume that there's a pretty clear script of sort of what things to cover in each session.
that's
And
exactly.
I found that so beneficial
Yes.
because I realized, and especially having the appointments timed the way they are. I think it's the first one and then a week later the second one, or two
Two
weeks later.
weeks. Two. Yeah.
Yeah, they're spaced pretty closely.
Yes.
So especially when I was first learning, I had that support
Yep.
always kind of, reminding, okay, this is what we're doing, this is where we're at. I loved, I think it was the end of each session. It was, okay, rate your own confidence using the
Yes.
system.
Yes.
And, and it was interesting even sort of going through that and going, hey, am I more confident than I was last week? Am I, how am I doing?
Yeah.
But I think it was really good. Having that script
Mm.
and sort of knowing, okay, she's going to repeat the same stuff every week. And then I remember getting about halfway through, and she said one thing, and I just went, yeah, yes, I'm doing that. Yes, yes, I'm doing that. Yes, no, no, I'm not doing that. I have forgotten to do that. I'm so sorry. I'll start again. It is really, really good. And I think for a lot of people, the repetition of it could get a little boring, but I think it's actually so good because that's how we
Mm.
learn.
Yes.
And this is a lifelong system. It's not something to do for 6 months and then, oh, you have a baby and it's over.
That's right.
It's something to chart and maintain your health
Yeah.
for the rest of your life, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Through the
So
life. Hey.
yeah, so it's good to know, to know that you know it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
By the end of the course, I really felt like, I was like, I really know this stuff
Yeah.
inside and out. I know what I need to do. I know the direction that's going to take me.
Yeah.
And I have all these resources to lean
Yeah.
on if I
Yeah.
ever need anything,
Yeah.
which is great.
Which is really good, isn't it? I think most
Yeah.
practitioners are available just by sending a text. So
Yeah.
I know that I always encourage my clients to just, if you're concerned, just take a photo of your chart and text it through
Yeah.
to me. I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
support has to come the whole time, not just at those structured appointment times, definitely.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
was the
And that is so
one
helpful.
thing that stuck out for you when you started learning your charting about your cycle itself? What really impacted you?
I can think of two experiences. I remember the first one being I'd done it for, again, I think it was between 4 and 5 months.
Yep.
And my instructor said, wow, your chart is different every month. And I
Yes.
went, yeah, it is. Why is that? She's like, well, we're going to have to work through that.
Yeah.
And then I think it was shortly after that, she said, if you ever do decide to study this, I reckon you'll be an excellent practitioner because you've had all of the different types of cycles listed in the book.
Oh my goodness.
I was just like, oh, great, okay. Because I think as women, sometimes we think that we're crazy, or we think that, it's all in our heads and it's
Mm.
actually all fine and all women go through this. And, but when something's actually wrong, it is so validating to hear,
Yes.
oh, wow, that's a little out of control, isn't it?
Yes.
And you just feel so good. And I remember the second thing that I thought of was I remember actually calling her up. I must have texted her first and said,
Yeah.
hey, my chart looks really weird this month. Would have been
Yeah.
about a year in.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? I can't figure this out. It's not a double peak. I don't think I couldn't figure it out. Couldn't
Yeah.
figure out what was going on. And I sent her a photo, and she called me, and she goes, "Oh, have you been under a lot of stress?" I said, "No." And she was quiet for a second. She goes, "Are you really sick?" I said, "No, I'm fine." And she goes, "Oh, okay." maybe go to the shop and stock up on some vitamin C and echinacea because I think you're going to be really sick in the next couple of days. And I went off. Come on, okay, thank you. Bye.
Yes.
Literally the next morning I woke up with the worst flu of my life.
Wow.
And I just remember being so blown away. It's like, it's not magic. It's not some voodoo, weird alternative, whatever.
No.
It's like we have been designed with bodies that know what's going on. And of course, our fertility is affected by whether we're fighting off a bug or whether we're under stress. I think it all clicked in my head and I went,
Yeah.
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. It's not normal for us I don't think we're ever told growing up that kind of thing makes sense, but it really does.
Exactly.
I was blown away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Mm.
And I think a lot of women are just learn so much just from that first introductory session as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I think nearly everyone goes, I didn't know that mucus could be like that.
Yeah.
When they see that microscopic picture of mucus and panels, or even that we were supposed to have mucus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I never knew. I remember growing up not knowing that was a thing. And I thought there was something wrong with me until I was 24, 25.
Yeah, that's right. And now you think, oh my gosh, so it is normal stuff. There's nothing wrong with me. And that just how the other thing that I think a lot of women get blown away by is the fact that our fertility is so easily understood by charting mucus.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
such a simple thing.
Yeah.
It's a simple thing. Yeah. And that it could be reflected just in charting that what you don't see on every day. Yeah. So, yeah, it's an amazing thing, that is for sure. So so you're obviously looking forward to the education program in February.
Oh, I am so excited. I'm so excited.
So am I. And so am I. So we're both at the same point, really, Kendal, you and I, because you're just going to become the practitioner for the first time, and this will be my first education program as an educator. So
are you so excited?
I am.
Nervous?
Because, no, not really. Because no, I'm not nervous at all. Not nervous at all. I'm just super excited because Australian women just need this.
Yeah.
We need it, and
absolutely.
we need more medical consultants as well. So, this is the next step to getting me being able to train medical consultants in Australia as well. So there's a process. There's always a process with this stuff. So, and that's fine because we have to keep it that way. It keeps it professional as well. And
which is excellent.
Yeah, I agree. So Ormiston, February 6th through to February 13th. It's going to be beautiful.
I was looking up the centre that it's in as well. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is right.
A bit of a retreat.
Yeah, it is. It's right on Moreton Bay, so you can walk down to the water.
Amazing.
And we did a program there with Margaret a couple of years ago, and we looked out the window one time during class, and there's a koala with a baby walking across the grass.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. You just have to make sure that you don't get daydreaming and looking out the window at the ocean. That's all.
Yeah. Well,
try not to do that. Try not to do that. So anyway, all right. So have you got anything that you want to add or encourage someone to become a practitioner, or even just to become somebody who's learning how to chart with the Creighton model?
Yeah, I mean, what I say to all of my friends and family, I think, is that and I know sometimes it comes across a bit weird, especially for Christian women, but I think women deserve better.
Yes.
Than, give it a go on holiday, try the pill, do IVF, all of those things. I mean, obviously not going on holiday, but But, you know, jumping on the pill for a bit, getting an IED, you know, especially IVF,
Mm.
it is such a tax on a woman's body.
Mm.
It's not addressing the root issue.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not even finding the root issue.
No.
And I think women deserve so much better. I have a sister-in-law who I'm fairly certain, I mean, from my non-medical knowledge, you know, I look at her and I see so much of my experience. And, you know, she's nearly 10 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
And I just go, I wish somebody had told me
Mm.
that there was anything else.
Mm.
You know, because she has at 18 gone to the doctors with what I am pretty sure is, you know, PCOS or some sort of cyst pain.
Yeah.
And the doctor's gone, oh, jump on the pill. Oh, that's not working. We'll put you on a higher dose. And
Yep.
you know, it's heartbreaking to watch.
Yes.
So I do really believe that this is a better option for women. I really believe that this is a system and a group of people that actually honestly cares about women and their
Yes.
health.
Yes.
And, you know, it's not about the bottom dollar, even though it is a business. But, you know, it's about getting women healthy and able to live actually the best way that they can.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to make it so available.
Yeah.
And I want to impress on women how important this is and how much they have to gain.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly right. They've got their life. They're going to get their life back. They're going to be able to live their life as the woman that they were created to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So good. And I think one of the things for when women go down the pathway of IVF, if they're successful with achieving and having a baby with IVF, once that baby's born, they've still got the same problem as they had before they went down the IVF pathway. And that's so sad. That's so sad. That is so sad.
Well, I remember chatting with a doctor in Sydney that I'd been referred to sort of midway through our journey. And he pushed IVF so hard. Like he basically in the actual appointment. And funnily enough, I've gone through all my medical notes just recently looking for something. I found a letter from him to the referring GP that said, I suspect endometriosis and PCOS will start with IVF. And I couldn't believe it. That was 4 years before I started Nephro.
Wow.
You know, and just imagine if he'd gone, hey, let's pursue fixing the problem.
Yes.
But he didn't. And I remember thinking when he was sitting there pushing IVF, my husband and I went away and had a big talk about it.
Yes.
And I remember saying, you know, my mum had awful chronic fatigue and very hormonal depression and anxiety all the way through my upbringing. And that impacted her, that impacted me, that impacted, you know, our whole family.
Yes.
And I remember saying to my husband, I don't want to force my body to have a child if it's not ready. And I'm just going to be continuing the cycle that my mum had and her mum had and her mum had, you know.
Yes, exactly.
And that was the only, but what we were choosing at that point was having a child through IVF or nothing. Or, you know, continuing to have miscarriages, continuing to feel awful. Yes. There was no other option.
Yes.
But I think you're so right. I think when it doesn't fix the problem, it's almost setting women up for not failure, but having a hard time as mums.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yes. And then we expect women to be so happy where, oh, you've got this gift, like you worked so hard to have this child, so you should be grateful and you should be, you know, you should be mega super mum when none of the problems have been sorted. No. Okay.
Right. We're setting them up to fail, basically, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Which is awful.
It's very sad, yeah. So can I just ask this question? Once you've got your charting your charting happening and you went and saw the NAPRO medical consultant. What was your treatment from, so you had the surgery.
Yeah.
What else was involved? Like what medication did you have to go on and stuff?
So I actually started on, I started seeing Dr. Allison, also in Brisbane, long before I actually was booked in, because I was on the waiting list for the surgery for a year.
Yep.
So I started seeing her. She did a bunch of blood work that nobody had done in the prior 6-7 years.
Yep. So tell me about the timing of those blood tests.
Oh, I know what you're getting at, and I like it. Oh my goodness. So I had, this just honestly, ruffles my feathers so much.
Okay, good.
But before that, I had so many blood tests on day 14, day 21, day 28.
Yep.
Assuming that I have a 28-day cycle. Every doctor I saw knew that I have a cycle between 35 and 40 days. Yep. Those tests don't mean anything.
Yes.
They cannot possibly have any, because they don't bear relation to my cycle. And I had those tests, I'm going to say 7 or 8 times. I'd gotten day 14, day 21, day 28, all the time. And I remember even saying to doctors, can I get blood tests every 3 days? I'll do it for a whole month, but just so I can see where things are going, because it doesn't make sense to me. And they've gone, no. Day 14, day 21, day 28 blood tests, so,
Yes.
And it was the, I think, 2nd or 3rd month, again, doing tracking with Creighton.
Yeah.
I knew, here's my peak day. Here's however many days afterwards. Here's this far into my cycle. And I was easily able to use those times to get the blood tests at the actual times I needed to. And immediately showed that my progesterone dropped off on day 5 or something.
I think,
peak plus 5. I think I had a usually 7-day luteal phase, so between ovulation and when I got my period, which of course I'm going to have miscarriages. Of course, there was so many things that just flipped because I had the data to know when I should be doing these blood tests.
That's exactly
right. Which was just insane. Well, and at the same time, they did a bunch of like genetic blood tests and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I found another, I think, 3 conditions that were all hereditary, which again made so much sense because this is generations of women on both sides of my family.
Wow.
And things that I had the MTHFR gene, so I don't absorb folic acid. I have to have actual folate. I've been on folic acid for 7 years because that's what doctors had scheduled,
Yes.
And it was just brilliant finding someone who, could understand the chart as well. I remember taking my chart into Alison and just saying, look, I think I actually said, I don't know if this will mean anything to you. And she goes, oh, no. Glanced at it, went, this, rattled off a bunch of stuff that I had never heard before.
Yes.
But it was just amazing. And amazing having a team of practitioners who all understood the same system.
Yes.
So any notes between them made sense to all of them and they were all on the same page. It's just incredible.
Yeah. The standardization of it just enables that. Exactly. So they found that you had a short luteal phase or a short post-peak phase. So what was the treatment for that?
So I did have luteal phase progesterone.
Yep.
Which was great.
Yes.
I think that boosted me to 14, usually like a 14-day luteal phase.
Okay, so it extended it out because your progesterone levels were where they were supposed to be.
I know. So there are a few things in amongst that. I think one thing that they looked at was my endorphin levels as well, because I had struggled, like my mum, with really severe anxiety and depression that I knew was very hormonal. So it wasn't it wasn't overwhelming in the sense that it was, the black hole of depression where nothing, where is this coming from? I knew where it was coming from.
Yes.
But I also didn't have any treatment for it.
Yeah.
So they put me on low dose naltrexone,
Yes.
which
Yep.
is amazing. It's a very, very low dose endorphin blocker at night. Honestly, I cannot describe, because at the time I was charting, I had all of these charts. I'm a chart person.
Yes.
I had all of these charts, and I had my little smiley faces, sad faces, or lightning bolts for,
Sure.
how I was feeling. If I had a day that I was very depressed or a day that I was very anxious, and I was, connecting it to my food, connecting it to my exercise, connecting it to my sleep. And I
Yep.
remember after taking this low dose naltrexone, I took it for 3 or 4 days,
Yes.
and kept charting. And from about 3 or 4 days until the end of the next month, I looked back and I said, I haven't had a little sad face on any of those days all the way through. It's not an amazing lightning bolt, I'm cured, but
No.
just those little things to support my
Yep.
actual health
Yes.
just made all the difference.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe, I think that's been the thing with this whole journey. As soon as I found NAPRO, there have been so many moments that I've gone, I can't believe it. But really at this stage, I should be, aware that, I should be able to believe it.
Yes,
But
exactly.
no, I'm still so shocked every time that the treatments that I have been given, there have been, I think I'm a tricky case, which also makes me very passionate, because I kind of look at most women and I go, oh my goodness, you would be so simple.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so easy for you. Just go. It has been tricky, and I'm still dealing with stuff. I think I've discovered recently that it doesn't look like I absorb actual progesterone, because I've always been on bioidentical progesterone, because it's healthier.
Yes.
And I did go on like a synthetic progesterone a little while ago, and oh my goodness, everything felt better.
Okay.
So we're now kind of looking at, I think with me, we're in the realm of, okay, let's try some sort of off-center treatments and stuff. But again, I have doctors that can do that.
Yes.
Are so knowledgeable that they can play around with things that,
Yep.
Maybe this isn't, exactly the treatment we used to, but they're so knowledgeable.
Yeah, exactly.
That we can try things that most doctors wouldn't have a clue about.
Yeah, that's so good. And they want to rise to that challenge as well.
Yes.
They want to rise to that challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually got a call. It was amazing from one of my specialists who I've been seeing we've been seeing her for nearly 2 years now. And she's lovely. She's just the most lovely woman. So Dr. Allison in Brisbane.
Yes.
And I called her, it would have been about 6 months ago, because I was just having awful period pains, and that was the one thing that didn't go away after the surgery. We're still in the process of, nutting that one out.
Figuring
but
out.
but I called her and I said, look, I've also discovered that I can't have basically any of your narcotic drugs or any heavy duty drugs just don't work.
Yes.
Which is just wonderful. I'm lucky anesthesia works, because that would have been terrifying.
Under a bit of a spinal there for you.
Right? Yes. So I was in tears. I was vomiting. It was awful. It was an awful day. And my husband called her and said, what can we do? Like, is there anything we can do? And she goes, oh, let me talk to Kendal. And Ben put me on the phone, and I was, when you're just feeling that awful, you kind of not in and out of consciousness, but you're not 100% there. It's like, oh,
exactly.
And I just heard her voice, and she goes, oh, Kendal, my heart breaks for you. We'll do whatever we can to find something to make it better. And I just, it meant so much to have someone that is so on my team and so advocating for me as a person. I can't believe how blessed I am to have that in my life.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
I know. And this is why we need to get more people, hey,